2 weeks after my wife's funeral, a certified letter arrived addressed to me, written in her handwriting. The postmark was dated the day after she died. Inside, there was only one sentence: I forgive you, but they won't. The rain hadn't stopped since the funeral. Ethan Ward sat by the window of his coastal house, counting the seconds between lighting and thunder. The living room still smelled faintly of lilies, the kind people send when they don't know what else to say. On the coffee table lay the urn, smooth and quiet, like it had secrets of its own. 2 weeks. That's how long it had been since Clara's car skidded off the highway and burst into flames. The police called it an accident. The papers called it a tragedy. Ethan just called it silence. When the doorbell rang, he didn't move at first. No one visited anymore. But the second chime was sharp, insistent. On the porch stood a postal carrier, rain dripping off his cap. He held a small, water-stained envelope. Certified delivery for Mr. Ethan Ward, the man said. Ethan frowned. From whom? The carrier glanced at the form. Clara Ward. Ethan's heart stopped for a beat. That's impossible, he said quietly. The carrier only shrugged. Postmarked 2 days ago, sir. Must have been delayed somewhere. Ethan took the envelope with shaking hands. The handwriting on it was unmistakable, slanted, graceful, the way Clara used to label the spice jars, or leave him notes on the fridge. He shut the door, stood in the dim light, and tore the seal. Inside was one sheet of paper. Just a single sentence written in black ink. I forgive you, but they won't. No signature, no date, no explanation. He read it once. Then again. His breath quickened. Forgive him for what? Who were they? He looked at the postmark again, the day after she died. His mind began racing through possibilities. Scheduled delivery, an old draft, a cruel prank, but he knew her handwriting too well. And Clara wasn't the type to play games. That night, sleep wouldn't come. He sat on the couch with the letter in his lap, the clock ticking louder with every passing minute. The storm outside grew stronger, shaking the windows. At 2:13 a.m., he picked up his phone and called the postal service number printed on the slip. After a long hold, a tired-sounding clerk answered. Yes, sir. I see the record, the clerk said. It was dropped off in person at our downtown branch. 2 days ago. Ethan's throat went dry. By whom? There was a pause, a few keyboard clicks. Signature here says, Clara Ward. The line crackled. Ethan almost laughed. A broken, hollow sound. That's not possible. The clerk hesitated. Sir, whoever it was had her ID, a driver's license. Ethan hung up slowly, the sound of rain swallowing the silence around him. Across the room, the urn sat unmoving on the table, faint reflections of lightning glinting across its surface. He looked at it for a long time before whispering, What did you do, Clara? Outside, thunder rolled like a warning. The next morning, Ethan drove into town, the letter folded neatly in his pocket. He needed answers from someone. His first stop was Grace Allen, Clara's best friend. Grace worked at a small bookstore, the kind that smelled of dust and paper. She looked up when he entered, surprise flickering across her face. Ethan, I thought you left town. I need to ask you something, he said. Did Clara ever mention writing me a letter? Recently? Grace's smile faltered. A letter? No. Why? He unfolded the paper. Her eyes flicked over the words, and for a moment her expression broke. Not shock, but recognition. Where did you get this? She mailed it, Ethan said. After she died. Grace exhaled slowly and looked away. You shouldn't dig into this. Why not? Because Clara didn't want you to. Grace said softly. She was preparing for something. You think you knew everything, but you didn't. Ethan leaned closer. Then tell me what I didn't know. But Grace only whispered. She was scared, Ethan. Not of you. Not exactly. Before he could press further, her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, pale. I have to go. She left the store without another word. That afternoon, a knock sounded at Ethan's door. A man in plain clothes stood on the porch, mid-40s, polite, carrying a folder. Mr. Ward. Detective Harris. May I come in? Ethan nodded cautiously. I know this isn't easy, the detective said, glancing around the house. But I wanted to follow up on your wife's case. There's something inconsistent about the crash. Inconsistent how? The brake line, Harris said. It wasn't a typical failure. It was severed, deliberately. Ethan felt his stomach twist. You're saying someone tampered with her car? I'm saying it looks that way. The detective paused, watching his reaction. Did your wife have enemies, Mr. Ward? Ethan's voice was tight. She was a journalist. Everyone was either a source or an enemy. Harris nodded. Then maybe her last story was worth killing for. After he left, Ethan sat in silence again. The letter still on the table. I forgive you. But they won't. Now the words felt heavier. Not accusation, but warning. 3 nights later, unable to bear the silence, Ethan searched Clara's office. Her desk drawers were organized, her laptop wiped clean, except for a small digital recorder tucked in the back of a shelf. He pressed play. Static, then her voice. Calm, deliberate, heartbreakingly familiar. If something happens to me, tell them to look at Ethan. He doesn't know yet, but he will. He deserves the truth too. Ethan froze. His pulse thundered in his ears. The next morning he drove to Dr. Miriam Lewis's office. Clara's therapist. The older woman seemed unsurprised to see him. She told me you'd come, Dr. Lewis said quietly. Before she died, she left something for you. I was told to give it only if you started asking questions. From a drawer, she pulled a sealed brown envelope. She said this would answer everything. Ethan opened it. Inside were a few photographs, grainy, taken at night. In each one, he was standing beside a woman in uniform, outside a burning ambulance. He recognized the woman instantly. Leah, his former partner from the paramedic unit, who'd died during an explosion 5 years ago. Beneath the photos, a note in Clara's handwriting. I know you think you saved her, but you didn't. And now they know too. Ethan's head spun. He remembered that night vividly. The explosion, the report, the classified debriefing that followed. He'd been told to forget it, to let the official version stand. But Clara had found out. He looked up at Dr. Lewis. Who are they? She shook her head. She never said, only that you'd recognize them when they came. That evening, Detective Harris called again. We found new footage, he said, from a gas station near the crash. Your wife wasn't alone. Ethan drove to the site before sunrise. The cliffs were quiet, the air sharp with salt. He stood by the guardrail, staring down at the waves. Something white fluttered at his feet. Another envelope, pinned beneath a stone. The handwriting was the same. He unfolded it slowly. You couldn't save her, but you can save yourself if you tell the truth. As he read, headlights appeared in the distance. A dark sedan pulled up behind him. A figure stepped out, a woman in a black coat, her face half hidden by shadow. Even from afar, something in her walk froze his breath. She moved like Leah. Ethan's phone buzzed in his pocket. One new message. No number. We received your confession. Meet us tomorrow. He looked out at the ocean, the letter trembling in his hands. Then he let it go. The wind caught it, lifting it toward the dark water until it vanished. Lightning flashed over the sea, illuminating his reflection in the waves, fractured, shifting, and finally unrecognizable.